Hello, Fabulous Pisces. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of July 2016, Love Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. What a powerful month it is all around for all signs out there. There's going to be quite the emotional and somewhat intense atmosphere playing out, but it will be beautiful all around. That is something that I can promise you, because there's a level of honesty that's going to be coming forward, and all of us in some way are going to see ourselves and see our circumstances differently than we had before. And this is especially true for you. We've got this full moon happening in a part of the sky for you that is decidedly romantic. It has to do with the heart wanting what it wants and trusting your heart. Well, that's the interesting thing here. Your heart can lead you in some interesting places this month, I gotta say. Some powerful pulls, some very faded attractions and flirtations that can leave you transformed. That's the key word here for all of us. There's transformation on offer, and for you, it being connected to love is that much more emphasized. So we have got this full moon, this new moon early this month, and then mid-month, a full moon, and that full moon has its own power as well, and it has a more surprise quality to it also. So this is really lights coming on and seeing things from a whole other perspective in stark honesty. The honesty early in the month is still there, but it's kind of an honesty that builds. It's the honesty of your emotions, the power of the emotion. But mid-month, it's the honesty that is completely objective. It's not about what you feel, it's about what actually is and having to accept it. So those of you who are in an established bond, as I look at the sky, I think that that new moon is going to speak very powerfully to how things transpire. It is in particular that new moon speaking with Jupiter in your opposite sign in harmony and with Mars in harmony. It does suggest that, for one thing, you make the best of whatever transpires, that's for sure. But very likely this is going to be a very powerful pull towards someone new. Whether you're in an established bond or not, ultimately it's up to you to decide what it is that's best for you in light of your circumstances. I would also be cautious and just caution you a little bit, especially if you're open to meeting someone new. This can be some buttons pushing, some power games, some interactions along those lines taking place. And you just want to be mindful, because everything might not be. As much as there is truth to this energy and transformation, there's also a level here, and again, I'm always going to be completely frank with you, but I'm seeing there's also a level here of manipulation. There might even be a little bit of a feeling of betrayal as well, like a game being played. So you just want to be mindful of that. Ultimately, look, nobody can do anything like that to you if you are striving to be conscious and to stay aware. And if you do what it is that you truly desire to do and what it is that you truly feel like doing. But just keep in mind, I would just be mindful of anybody, if you meet somebody new right about now and they're making promises or things like that, that's where I would be a little bit careful. If it's just about the moment, then it's just the moment. You can make it whatever it needs to be for your growth, for your healing, and for you to see something different within yourself, for you to make a change and see yourself differently from a different perspective. So that might be very much part of this. But another part of this has to do with being drawn to certain people and then deciding what it is that you're going to do with that attraction. So a part of that attraction, you know, again, I remember, like, I got some really good advice. I remember sharing it on the weekly horoscope not too long ago, but I remember years ago I got some great advice. That's the great thing about communication, right? Communication is infinite. You hear something, it is forever a part of you, and you can bring it forward whenever you need for it to have a positive effect on your life. But I remember somebody saying, you know, when you feel something for a person, it's just a feeling. It means there's a lesson there. Doesn't mean you have to do anything about it. And I have a feeling as I look at the sky for you that there will be a very powerful attraction, and it's a feeling. And you've got to decide what it is that you're going to do with it or not do with it. It completely is up to you. But that pull is going to be there, and it's going to be there in terms of some intense butterflies happening for you, an intense pull towards another person. But I have a feeling as we move to the middle of the month and we've got this, light bulb moments all around taking place, it may be a friend who gives you a whole other perspective on that person, has you looking at that person in a way that surprises you and maybe might make them less of a ideal prospect for you, okay? So because of the lack of stability this month, you can meet somebody, you can feel a pull, that's beautiful, right? Of course, do whatever it is that you feel called to do, but at the same time, know that there's a lot more information that has to come about. If you are in a situation, what happens with some people sometimes, we can be in situations that are less than ideal. And if you're in a situation with somebody where you know that they can be manipulative, then this is where you're going to see it. And this is where it's going to start to feel not acceptable, like less acceptable than ever, is likely what's going to show up for you around this time. And ultimately, this is meant to empower you in the best possible sense. This is meant to show you something about why you want, what you're drawn to, what that says about you, and ultimately, whatever it is, if there is something there that needs to be addressed, then that will take place as well. But look, it's not going to be all dire for us out there. There's actually lots of really positive things happening as well. But what it is ultimately is consequential. And what it is ultimately is you seeing where your work is and seeing what it is ultimately when you feel that pull, what it is that's saying to you about your life and your circumstances. And that is the power, and that is the key here. If you're in an established bond, this can be some powerful negotiations taking place. And this becomes that much more heightened if you have children, or you want children or don't want children. That's where the negotiating, and that may very well be part of the issue that arises, that is part of what needs to be addressed under this sky. So if you have children, how are you caring for them? And how is that working or not working? Are there changes that need to be made? Does one person want children, the other person doesn't? These are the types of negotiations that can happen now. If you're open to meeting someone new, there's going to be a very strong desire to just, jump in at one sight, at a glimpse of somebody, and just jump in head first and just go right deep into the water. Very possible, very much alluring at a time like this. But keep in mind, ultimately, you're seeing one part of this person, and that's not a bad thing, right? You do whatever it is that feels right for you to do, knowing that more will be revealed mid-month. So as we get to the middle of the month, it's like light bulbs coming on. And this becomes that much more magnified if you're looking at a friend as a possibility of a lover. That becomes that much more magnified, that there's this part of them that you didn't even realize was there. And now, how are you going to move forward? How are you going to deal with this? Also, I do think that for those of you who, it's very possible under a sky like this mid-month that a friend might declare some feelings for you and you really don't know what to do with it, especially if it's a friend who's connected to you in terms of making money as well. So whether you work with them or you're involved with them in terms of some financial arrangements, that might end up being a scenario there. And it's like, okay, what do I do with this now? Where do I go with this now? Where you go with it, ultimately, it's all about that Mars being harmonious. It's all about empowering you and being true to you. And if you act from that place of knowing who you are and staying true to that, you will have no regrets in the actions that you take. Understand that people are varied. People have lots of different sides to them. You'll see one side or another, but the fullness of who a certain person is, or who any of us are, tends to be revealed over time. So allow yourself to have that time and allow yourself to learn from what it is that you are drawn to. Because if you do, then you will find yourself being more conscious and making more conscious choices to be drawn to only those that truly make you feel not only at your absolute best, but have the real potential to bring great love and more of great love into your life. Head over to my website right now to get early access to the Jupiter Special horoscopes. In the month of September, Jupiter will change signs. We'll move into the sign of Libra. This is so exciting as all of us in some way are going to notice our blessings shift and feel ourselves getting more hopeful and getting more opportunity in a very practical kind of way in a new area of life. So based on your sun sign, based on your moon sign, your rising sign, Jupiter will bless your life in new ways. So to find out how and to get an early look into how, head on to my website, nadiyashah.com. And of course, those horoscopes will be available on YouTube to the public on YouTube in the month of September. But if you want an early look, visit my website. And I look forward to seeing you there. It'll be great. This move of Jupiter into Libra will be great. Enjoy.